Hey everybody, Mitch, and welcome to my live stream. It's the next one. It is live stream 6 out of the 9 that I'm going to be doing. So nice. Anyways, yeah, we're just here hanging out as per usual, talking D&D, and yeah, looks like we got someone who was chatting while we were waiting. I don't know if they're still here or not, but Hero Azarian, I think. Pleasure to be here. My last girlfriend was a big fan of 3rd edition, and she recommended your channel to me. Well, appreciate that. Definitely pretty awesome. What's up? Looks like you're here. Yeah, glad to have you here on the channel. Yeah. And I guess your ex-girlfriend's got good taste. I don't know what else to say on that, but yeah, 3.5 is really the best. It's kind of where it's at. Let's see, people message on Discord while I'm trying to be live. Anyways, so hope everyone's doing good. I know this is a little bit late for a lot of people. I do apologize for that. I should try and do these at an earlier hour next time. So next milestone, I'll schedule them earlier. They're already scheduled, so I kind of don't want to move them at this point. But when I hit 5,000 subs, I'll try and remember to schedule them at an earlier hour for you guys. Again, thank you guys so much for helping me hit 2,500 subscribers. That's why we're doing these live streams, as a thank you for helping me get here. Yo, what's up, Sven? How's it going? But yeah, like I say, this is a thank you to you guys, which is why I'm doing them. You have your chance to hang out, chat, interact. Yeah, it's your guys' chance to talk. It's basically what this is. Yeah. So I've been working on the channel. If you guys got any questions or anything you want to ask, feel free to let me know, and we can start moving the conversation in that direction. Like I say, this is your guys' chance to chat and hang out and stuff. So this is very much chat motivated. There isn't a real plan for the stream other than answer questions, hang out. Yeah. Yeah. So how many games do you run on average? Ooh, good question. Right now I'm not running any. I'm in one as a player, but in terms of when I have run them, I think I've only ever run one at a time. I'd like to start running some. I've been planning to for a while. I just haven't got around to doing it. Yeah, it's been on my to-do list for a while. I've been struggling with motivation on a lot of things lately, but honestly, things have been changing a bit. Having these live streams to do has helped a lot, if I'm being real. So yeah, hopefully I can start doing that. I went to bed, but woke up again. All good, Sven. All good. Glad to have you here in the middle of the night for you. Yeah. Hopefully this is a nice little mid-sleep break for you. I appreciate having you here for that. That's pretty cool. But yeah, for games, yeah, I'm thinking of running a few, but I don't know. I've never ran more than one at a time, but I am looking into it. Yeah, I'm thinking of starting one at some point. If I do, it'll probably be a paid DMing one, so you have to pay for session and all that. So that is one campaign that I'm thinking of running. It'll be a sandbox one. I'm still trying to figure out the logistics of everything before I set it up. I don't know. I'm just hesitant on everything. And then I also kind of want to run a game on Twitch where I have people play their character while I run the game, and it's just all live stream for everyone to see. That's another idea I have, but I'd have to find people that are both good players and also people that are willing to be on camera for on a regular basis with on my Twitch channel where I'm getting all the credit and stuff, all the ads and stuff go to me. Yeah, I'll be shouting you out in any social media, but You know what I mean? So finding someone who would be okay with that, and who would be a good player, it'd be a little bit tricky. And I don't have any real expectations, which is why I haven't really put a lot of effort into trying to get that started. I'm not sure if I have the clout yet or not. I've been talking about that for a while. I was talking about that on my 1,000 subscriber live streams. Um, maybe I do have the clout now. I don't know. I have more than I did on the last one. I know that, but how much? I don't know. Um, Good on you getting paid for it. Yeah, appreciate that. I'm not in the greatest financial situation, so yeah, I definitely, I am trying to, get some side hustles going to get some money. That's part of why I do the channel. Not the only reason, but if it was the only reason, I probably wouldn't be doing it because it hasn't paid very well so far. I mean, I've made money, but not that much. So it is what it is. I do it more for the love than I do for anything, but I would like to try and make this a full-time thing that's actually enough to pay for rent and stuff. Just a long way from that. I think I'm about maybe 1% of the way to that. So yeah, long way to go. Like legitimately, I'm making about 1% of what I would need. But it is what it is. And I don't really expect a whole lot, which is why I'm thinking of doing paid DMing, which would do a lot more than what I'm making on YouTube right now. Like easily, like I'm making 10 to 20 bucks a month, not much. So, I could very, very easily make that doing paid DMing. I'd be charging more than that per player per session, and could easily get, 4 players 4 times a week. So I could easily be making 16 times that, if I were to do that, which, it is what it is. Ouch, dude. Yeah, it's rough out there, but it is what it is. You know, uh, Not here exactly to be talking about my financial woes, but at the same time, like, yeah, it sucks. I'm a small YouTuber. I'm not some big, I'm not one of those big YouTubers that's making millions. Not even close. When you got an audience the size of mine, you're not making much. Like all of my money comes from ads. 100% of it. I don't make any money aside from the ads that YouTube shows. I don't have any sponsors on my videos because I'm not big enough. I think you need to have like 10,000 subscribers before most sponsors will even like look at you. And I got a ways to go on that one. So that kind of sucks. Yeah, so don't really have a way to make money aside from just advertisements at the moment. And that's not a great way to make money. It doesn't pay very good. What's up, Everett? Or no, what was it? Yeah, Everett Sager. What's up? Favorite class, subclass. Subclass is a 5e thing, but I guess you might mean prestige class. But class, tricky one. I've been asked this a lot, but not surprisingly. I actually have a video on it, but I don't know. I think the casters are a big one, as is the barbarian. Ironically, I know the barbarian seems different, but I like to play either like some like all-powerful caster who's often very frail, or as some like big buff crazy barbarian, brute, or maybe a fighter as well, that is also just like dumb as rocks, and also kind of an a-hole. So I like to have really unbalanced characters, ones that are really good at some stuff and really crappy at other stuff. Those tend to be the kind of characters that I really, really love. In terms of prestige classes, I'm not even sure. There's so many that I've looked at so many of them. It's hard to like pick a favorite. Wild Mage is always a fun one. Never played it, but just its chaotic nature seems really fun. Let's see, what other ones? I really like the idea of the Geomancer, even though it's not particularly great. It has some cool stuff, and I don't know, it's one that I've looked into and have kind of wanted to play for a while. Yeah, I don't know. It's usually like the underrated ones that I tend to go for, because I don't know, when I see classes and prestige classes that are getting played all the time and everyone's doing more so with prestige classes that I don't know. I kind of want to do something different and, think outside the box. It's usually what I like to do. I like to take a character that's not really done a whole lot and, you know, do them in an interesting way. Like, it's not the most optimized build in the world. Like, I take some idea that's kind of niche and fringe and not super like powerful, and then I try and optimize for that as best as I can to, like, I don't know, make something that's kind of cool. That's kind of what I try and do when I make builds and like that I want to play. I don't know. I just find it fun that way because yeah, I like to have something that's strong and fun, but and like to optimize. But I don't know, stripping out all the creativity of the game to just like be like, yes, I'm going to be a wizard with a bunch of prestige classes that just make me extremely strong. It's like, okay, yeah, that's going to be a very powerful build. But how fun is that going to be? You know what I mean? Like, you're a wizard with a bunch of prestige classes that each give little things here and there, or a druid that does something similar. That's just like pure druid, and you've just kind of optimized your feats and spells and stuff, or a cleric that's taking a bunch of prestige classes, and really taking a bunch of domains and a bunch of stuff to really make use of all your turn undead attempts. There's ways to do stuff, but like, I don't know. I think it's more fun to do something different and like play around with things. Do something that's a little less optimal, not just take one of the best classes and go, all in on it. Like, do something fun. Like, make a grappler and like, hey, let's make as strong of a grappler as we can. Is that going to be like the greatest build? No, but let's make the best grapple. Let's make the best grappler we can make, and that I find fun. Geomancer is the one with wings. The picture has wings. They don't necessarily have wings, but that is an option that they get at like 10th level, I think, is to gain wings. So they get a bunch of like special stuff. They get like all sorts of like plant and animal parts that kind of become part of their body. They're like all about like becoming one with nature. Every level they get something. At the early levels, it's something pretty minor, but then it starts to become more major that gets actual like benefits. Like the first and second level, the stuff they get is cosmetic only and doesn't provide any actual benefits. But the later stuff will, where they'll get like, they can get like run speeds and pounce and like an alligator jaw, and they can get wings, and they can also get blind sense and tremor sense, which you kind of have to pick between them. You can only get two of the three of the highest ones, and wings, tremor sense, and blind sense are, I believe, all options at the highest level. So yeah, it's a pretty fun one. It's the Urge class, but it only advances one class, and it also gives. It also lets you mix match your magic together. So, if you're like a cleric wizard and you go all in on intelligence, then you can cast your cleric spells with intelligence, and then it'll also let you cast your wizard spells in armor. Basically, it lets you mix and match all the different parts of spell casting up to your geomancer level -1 of spells. So, like, 10th level, all up to 9th level, at 7th level, all up to 6th. And at first level, just your 0. But yeah, it's a fun one. It's not. Is it the strongest in the world? No. Like, it's definitely pretty underpowered, but at the same time, it's got some cool stuff, and it's one. It's one I've wanted to play for a while. Never really have. So yeah, I don't know. I like looking into more niche stuff. That's just, I don't know, my nature on things. I like building powerful builds and optimization, but I like doing it in ways that are more fun and creative. Like, let's make a cool thing, like, some ideas I've had are like, hey, let's make like a vow of peace, and let's make a like sacred vow optimized character that's all about like vow of peace and vow of nonviolence, and throw in vow of poverty and all that too, and um, then make it so that okay, this character is not one that like kills ever, and it's all about like grapple. It'll be like a grappler for the most part, and non-lethal damage, and like also maybe probably some oration stuff to like have diplomacy to like try and talk your way out of situations. So the kind of guy who's just like you know goes in, it's like, let's try and talk our way out of this. If that doesn't work, then let's just try and capture them. If that doesn't work, then I guess we can beat them up. And then they might be able to, like, if it's like straight up like evil characters, they might be able to kill. I'm not quite sure how that works. I think there might be caveats. I can't remember, but yeah. But for the most part, like, they avoid violence, which is an interesting idea. Is it going to fit most games? No. So I would never play it in a game without consent from the DM and the rest of the players, because I would want to make sure that everyone's having a fun time, and that's the kind of build that could ruin a game. So yeah, but at the same time, I don't know. It's a cool idea. I think it'd be fun. So yeah, Geomancer's. So yeah, I don't know. I like interesting builds. Like, I like to come up with just crazy ideas. Like, that's what the inspiration for a lot of my build videos. Like the one that doesn't have any classes, that's literally just has a bunch of templates and stuff on it. So it's got some races and templates and all this stuff that just really add to the ECL of the character, and you make this crazy build that's not super optimal, but it's kind of interesting in that it's like, oh, it's a giant that's also a half dragon, that's also a half fiend, and also a half, and also a werebear. It's like, okay, interesting, because you have all these racial hit dice that are being powered up by various other parts of the build. So like the half dragon and the half fiend, are all the racial hit dice that you're getting from it are being powered by both of those. So like both of those power them and make them, all the racial hit dice, stronger. So that's kind of cool in my opinion. Being able to like get that. Is this going to be as good as actually having class levels? Probably not. But you know what? Yeah. I think I made a video about the worst build, and where I literally tried to make the worst build possible. And honestly, it's just a commoner. Like, commoner's just bad. Like, by design, it's a really bad class. It has D4, has bad base attack, all bad saves. It can be used for some cheese, sure, but aside from that, commoner's just horrible. Any suggestions on leveling a monster to make him a boss? Okay, yes, I could probably help with that. In many cases, he is not as powerful as other monsters of his heightened CR. Okay, so one thing you would definitely want to do is make sure you gear him up appropriately, because monsters often will have gear, so you'll want to figure out how much more treasure this monster should have from those extra levels that you're giving him, and give him that treasure. Like, give him like a better sword or better armor or something like that. That can help. You know, maybe give him like special items that you can find. Gotta run. Take care. All good. Arzen, appreciate you being here. Appreciate you waiting for the stream. That was pretty awesome. Like, I saw you were here way before the stream actually started. So, yeah, take care, man. Hope to see you in the future. If not, thanks for hanging out. But yeah, for monsters, yeah, just give them gear. Find like various items that might benefit them. Like, I don't know, off the top of my head, a Star Mantle Cloak's a pretty cool item. that you could maybe give them that would make them, much more difficult to hit. It's expensive, so maybe they're not going to be able to afford it. But yeah, maybe give them a staff they can use to like be casting some stuff. Um, what's it? Argmadius. I just made an oceanic campaign, and one of my players hit me with a character that hates water. But we can adapt. Yeah, as long as like they're aware, that's cool. I wanted to make things different over a basic dungeon crawl, and that's cool. Like not everyone even does dungeon crawls. Like I do dungeon crawls a lot, and I love them. But I also do things that aren't dungeon crawls, like fighting orcs in the woods. It's like, hey, you guys got to walk to the city, and on your way, you're gonna run into some stuff, and maybe there'll be fights when you get to towns and all these things. So, that's also a thing. Let's see. I've tried leveling ogre mages and mind flayers, but they don't seem that powerful compared to the group they're fighting. Better weapons and gear may help. Yeah, better weapons and gear always very helpful. Will it be enough? I don't know, but yeah, you can always do more enemies. You can always level them up even higher, and maybe your players are just really good at power leveling, or like not power leveling, power gaming, and that's cool. Throw the higher CRs at them and give them more experience for it. Let them level up faster. The game's going to get out of control, but can be very fun if you can handle it. It can get difficult to handle if they're leveling up really fast and they're hitting epic levels quickly, and the game gets really crazy. But if you can handle it and your players are enjoying it, then that's fine. More minions. Yeah, more minions can always be a decent way. They're not the best. Another thing I've thought of trying, I haven't done it yet, and I'm not sure how well it would work with today's technology, but potentially using something like AI to like control the various bad guys in the combat, because you're dealing with all this stuff. It's difficult for you as the DM to think about, okay, what's this guy doing, what's this guy doing, what's that guy doing, what's the other guy doing. So potentially like programming some AI to like handle the various different NPCs in the fight could be a way to deal with it. Don't know how good it'd be, and I don't know how people feel about AI, but it's an option. I haven't done it. I'm not sure how well it would work, to be honest. But yeah, it's an idea. Again, more minions can help. Just as fodder kind of slows the players down a little bit. They tend not to do a whole lot a lot of the time, but they do add a lot to the action economy potentially. So, that even though their actions are often not that great and don't do a whole lot, but yeah. One issue with more minions is it does tend to slow combat down a lot. Even if you try grouping them up, just the sheer numbers of things does take a little while to manage. So that is something to keep in mind. But I don't know. There are options on things. Just making the big bad, maybe a level or two higher could also work. And also, another thing, do you even need to make things more challenging? That's another question that's worth asking. Like, are your players fine with, not being pushed that hard? They might be. It's probably fine to like, try and give them a big push and make them, nearly lose the fight every now and then. But, it's perfectly fine to just let them win without too much difficulty a lot of the time. A boss fight should not be over in a couple rounds, and it should always be memorable somehow. That's true to an extent. It might be good to do a couple of test fights with the boss to see how it can go. That's true, but it could be memorable even if it is in a few rounds. Like, a lot of fights do end in a few rounds. That's fairly typical. But I get what you're saying, but keep in mind, it might still be memorable how wow, did you remember how we took that guy down so easily? He was such a big deal and doing all this stuff. And then we just choke him out. Maybe like use some narrative ahead of the fight to just hype up the fights a little more, show them doing like all these terrible things and put some more dialogue and stuff in there. There's ways to try and make it memorable that aren't combat as well. So that's also an idea. It can be tricky. It's not necessarily my forte, but I'm not the best at it. I like it. It's pretty cool when DMs do it a lot of the time, but like I don't know. It's not the thing I'm best at as a DM, but it's a good way to make something more memorable. My group is currently on an island, and they ran into a bunch of tiny frogmen. Easy to kill, but every hit poisoned them. Oof, that can be nasty, especially if your players aren't immune to poison. And the whole sea campaign and islands, that's interesting. Gives me kind of One Piece vibes a little bit, but I don't know if that's what the inspiration was or not, but definitely cool. And if you don't have Stormrack, definitely look at Stormrack, because if you're doing a ocean-based campaign, Stormrack is going to be your friend. I have an idea to modernize an older 1980s module from the 1980s with 3.5. Have you heard of Knights of Dark Terror? I have not. I'm not super familiar with modules. I don't run many of them. Most games that I run are very much homebrew. So, I can't say I've done much at all with modules, like really at all. Almost all of them are games that, every game I've run has been one that I designed. I didn't, come up with every little thing. It's like, elves exist and all that. But, I made up the towns. I made up, the enemies. A lot of times I just pull stuff out of the books, but, I chose where everything was going to be and what the motives of all the bad guys would be and all that. So, I basically create my own games on the fly. Um, yeah. So I don't really run modules. I haven't made modules either. I generally just will run a game and kind of wing it for the most part. I come up with some like basic stuff for the players of like, hey, this is more or less the direction that I'm planning things to go. Like they're in this area, they're probably going to be doing X, Y, and Z, but who knows? They could very easily surprise me and do something crazy. But like get an idea of what the most likely thing they're going to do and kind of plan around that a little bit. Think broadly about what I might do if they try and stray from things in certain directions. And then I just kind of improvise and, go with things, and make things work. I don't write too much down. A lot of it's just in here that, I think about over the week of like, what I might be doing. And then usually for like a little bit before the actual session, I'll generally think about some stuff and like in more detail. But yeah, I often improvise a lot of my game. I just kind of go off of what the players do and react and try and make things realistic. I'll take notes of like what the world, like what's happened in the world and stuff. But most of the time, I just remember it. I've got a pretty good memory. But it's been reading it. It's been very helpful. Nice. Glad you guys were able to help each other. Homebrew is about all I run. Yeah, same. As I just said, obviously. I've tried adventure books, but I always seem to end up doing things my own way. Fair enough. Yeah, I've pretty much only ever played with. Most of the time when I play games, the DMs are doing homebrew. I haven't been the player in too many modules, to be honest. But I've never run a module. I've really only ever done homebrew games. And I thought about doing a module once. Somebody offered to let me play a module that they made for free in order to like promote it and stuff, which I was look something that I was thinking of doing is like kind of a sponsorship kind of thing, but that ended up falling through. So it is what it is. Just kind of didn't work out. No real reason. But yeah, is what it is. Stuff happens. But yeah, I haven't ever done a module before, to be honest. I wouldn't be exactly opposed to it. Like especially if somebody like wanted to have me promoted and like, I got a cut of any sales that came, like, which was kind of going to be the deal, but didn't work out. Something I may do in the future. No actual plans at the moment, though. But yeah, at the moment, mostly working on the channel. Probably going to be starting a second game that I'm playing in soon. And maybe run one here not too far from now. Might start streaming some Baldur's Gate 3 online as well on my Twitch channel. So I could probably put a link to that. I know there's one on my page, but yeah, that's something that I'm thinking of doing. It's possibly like would it be like next week? I think. Yeah, I think it'd be like next Wednesday. I'd probably start because I think next Monday is my last one of these live streams. So I think if I was going to do Twitch, I'd probably like do it at the same time and just start streaming Baldur's Gate over there. That's an idea that I have. Again, I'm also thinking of running a game and having some of you guys hang out in the game and play play D&D with me. So that'd be kind of cool. Yeah. Other stuff on the channel. I mean, you guys just saw I put out that Spymaster video finally yesterday, so that just dropped. Working on a couple other videos. Working on one where I taught my then girlfriend, now ex-girlfriend, this was filmed like 2 years ago, how to play D&D. So that's a video that will be coming out at some point. I have no idea when. Could be a little while, but it's definitely on the. It's definitely something I'm working on a little bit. Keeping up with the shorts, and also I'm working on another video at the same time as well. I'm working on starting to remake all the Player's Handbook stuff. So all my Player's Handbook videos. So like all the base classes, fighter, barbarian, wizard, cleric. Those are all like super old videos that are really outdated. The quality's not great and all that. So I'm working on trying to start remaking those, as well as races, which is what I'm starting with. So yeah, that is in the works. I haven't done too much on it yet, but it has been started. Yeah. Let's see. I've actually gone back and watched a lot of your 3.5 videos just to remind myself on how to run this campaign. Nice. Appreciate that. And yeah, I'm working on remaking some of the older ones. Like right now, the human is the one I'm working on. You have great information. Appreciate that. Especially the newer stuff, the older stuff. Well, I was, I barely knew what I was doing when I started. Let's be real. I played the game, I knew some stuff, but I didn't know half as much as I know now. And I also didn't have a great format for like how I was providing the information. The video quality was bad. The audio quality was bad. There was no editing. The videos just weren't great. But that's changing. That's something I'm very actively working on. So yeah, that's something to look forward to on the channel. Yeah, just kind of working on, trying to be more active and getting some stuff out there for you guys. Yeah, starting to do these live streams has kind of motivated me to really start working on stuff again. I look forward to watching them. Appreciate that. Yeah, that's just kind of, where I'm at on that is, let's make some cool stuff. Let's see. Everett's been thinking of trying to incorporate the Sunless Citadel adventure path which is a series of modules from 3.0 to 3.5 for my campaign. Cool. Like I said, I'm not really familiar with modules and stuff, but that sounds really cool. Being able and like trying to figure out like how to add them into your campaign, that can be really cool. Yeah, I'm not sure how much advice I can give on that because modules is something I don't have much experience with. But yeah, I know the campaign I'm probably going to be running as the paid one is going to be it's going to be a sandbox game, and it's going to be one that starts core only. You're not going to be able to use any resources, any splat books, only player's handbook, dungeon master's guide, monster manual. That's it. The other books don't exist at the start, but all the other splat books, or a lot of the other splat books, are going to be physical artifacts in the game. Like they're going to be like these, shrined books that you can interact with, and when you do, you basically you activate them, and by activating them, you incorporate them into the game as like part of how the world works. I actually saw an anime with this kind of similar premise on how that works. If you've ever seen Undeath Unluck or Undead Unluck, the whole process of adding rules to the world, and that is kind of how adding books to the game would apply. That all the players and all potential players from the future and stuff would, like, anybody who bears the mark of destiny, which is all players are born with it, even if they aren't part of the game. They're just, like the guy who joins a year later, he's been there. He's been in the game the whole time. He's just been off in the boonies somewhere doing nothing of real relevance. Or maybe he's been doing something in the sidelines of relevance that no one knows about. And then he, shows up and joins the party. But anyways, everyone with that will remember everything as things were. But the rest of the world, they'll have their memories rewritten to like remember that the new books, as they're added in, were always there, and those were always a part of the world as far as everyone else was concerned, as well as new people will just like spawn into existence, and the world will just get bigger. So that's kind of the idea of the campaign, and it's just a sandbox game. There's no like real plot or anything other than, hey, there's these book artifacts that like you guys are, the destined people that can awaken them. And, there's going to be like political factions in the world, and, various things are happening. So, yeah. Let's see. I use a lot of third-party books, mainly from Green Ronin Publishers. Fair enough. I can't say I'm familiar with them. I mostly just use the normal Splat books, which they are third-party, but yeah. I've used the ones that I've covered on my channel tend to be the ones that I use the most, like the Races books, the Complete series. I use those a lot. Player's Handbook 2, Expanded Psionics. Those are ones I dip pretty heavily into. Once I finish covering those on the channel, which I've got some progress on. I'm in the middle of Complete Adventurer, and then I just have the 4 smaller complete books to do, and then I'll finish all of the complete. And I already finished the Races books and the whatchamajigger books, the Player's Handbooks and all that. So, and as well as the Expanded Psionics. So, yeah, those are all things that have been covered, and I'll probably cover some other stuff. But those are the ones I know best. I have other books, and I will start covering those. Probably going to start covering like Stormrack and Stormrack and Sand Surge and what are the other ones? Frostburn and and then what are they? Cityscape and Dungeonscape. So those will probably be the next ones that I cover, most likely. After I'm done with the complete series. But yeah, that's the plan. The plan is to cover every single book at some point. When that will be, who knows? There's a lot of splat books, so could take me a very long time, probably decades, to actually cover everything. But that's the plan: is to just keep working through it until I've covered literally everything in terms of class, race, prestige class, and feats. Feats are behind, obviously, because shorts weren't a thing for a long time, but they're catching up pretty fast. Yeah, I'm on Complete Warrior with those, so I'm only about 3 books behind. So not too far, in all honesty. Yeah, 3 books behind. So I'll catch up at some point. And then, I don't know, I guess maybe Feats will surpass the other ones in terms of where they're at. I'm not sure how that's going to work with the channel, but we'll figure it out when we get there. But yeah, that's kind of content. Yeah, exactly. Out of all the D&D 3 stuff that you find online, you rarely see D&D 3.5 content. Yeah, 100%. You really don't. Apparently, there's another guy called 3.5 Archive, which, not gonna lie, really awesome name. But yeah, apparently he's doing something very similar to what I do. But aside from that, there's really no one out there doing that, like doing what I do. So no one else really covers 3.5. People have in the past, and like occasionally you'll see a big YouTuber make a video about 3.5. I know Duke from One Shot Questers. I know he made one like a couple of years back, and when you search 3.5, that video tends to be one of the ones that pops up. Unfortunately, mine also show up. I think his show up ahead of mine, which kind of sucks, but is what it is. He is a much bigger YouTuber. It's just 3.5 is my whole niche, whereas he mostly covers 5e. But it is what it is. I get it. Much bigger YouTuber, and that video did get way more views than any of mine. He seems like a nice enough guy. Anyway, yeah, I'm just kind of working on trying to build the channel, make more D&D 3.5 stuff. Yeah, that's kind of my plan going forward. Probably try and get another short out today. That will almost certainly happen. I try and get one of those every day. Sometimes I don't get around to it, but I definitely always try to get a short out every day. Then I try and put at least a little bit of progress into making, the next video. And then if I have some time, I'll try and put, some effort into making some of the other side project videos as well. So, yeah, that's just kind of my workflow. And I'm trying to do more and more as I get more and more motivated and more energy. So I always thought taking levels of fighter to get weapon focus, weapon specialization, and greater versions of these feats was a huge benefit for fighter. You seem to recommend against it. Yeah, they're not that great. The bonuses are pretty small, and they tend to only work with one weapon. Now, they get a bit better if you follow that up with the feats in the player's handbook too that also require that, but they're really not that great. Weapon focus is even weapon focus, which you don't need to be a fighter to take. It's not a great feat. +1 flat bonus. It's not good. There's so many better uses of a feat than a +1 to hit with one specific weapon, even if you're using that one specific weapon almost exclusively. So yeah, there's just way better options on there's just so many better feats out there. If you're sticking to core only, okay, sure, but yeah, when you start expanding past core, yeah, there's definitely way better stuff. And honestly, you probably don't want to take more than 1, maybe 2 levels of fighter. A 1 level dip in fighter is often really good, because a 1 level dip in fighter will get you a bonus feat, which is nice, and it gets you, proficiencies in all weapons and armor, basically, including tower shield proficiency, or realistically, not specifically tower shield proficiency, but proficiency in one shield, one exotic shield of your choosing. Um, Basically, as new books came out and the concept of exotic shields became a thing, Fighter was kind of errata to be like the tower shield being an exotic shield, and basically the fighter's tower shield proficiency being one proficiency in one exotic shield of your choice, which still lets you pick tower shield if you want. It's just now lets you, basically trade tower shield proficiency for a different shield that might fit you better. Like one ally you will often want to trade for would be a rider shield. It's a really good shield if you're a mounted unit, and it gives the full benefit of your normal large shield, but it also lets you apply your AC bonus from the shield to your mount, which is kind of nice. Helps keep your mount alive, which is important for mounted characters. They want a decently strong mount. Just getting some regular horse with barely any health, not often great. You're going to want to train that horse and give it some racial hit dice, or which takes time and effort and money. Or you're going to want to be like a ranger or a paladin and have that as your special mount, as a paladin, or a ranger as your animal companion. In which case, yeah, you can, that mount is going to have enough health to be pretty viable, just as is. A paladin special mount is strong enough that they're not going to be too easy to kill, and therefore, targeting the mount to, dismount the paladin isn't the most viable of strategies. Same with a ranger if they have a horse animal companion. They're going to have enough health and everything to, not be too easy to take out. So, yeah. But yeah, Rider Shield, it's a great shield that helps make them, live longer, if you happen to be a mounted character. And then, there's other options as well. Plus, Tower Shield's still not bad in its own right, especially if, you're using it in conjunction with other people with Tower Shield. I think there's a feat in Complete Warrior that basically lets you do like Sparta and like interlock all your shields together and get full cover while still being able to like make attacks. Like you can do the whole Spartan shield thing with the Tower Shield, as well as for yourself you can use it to like get total cover by just putting it down in front of you and then take total defense. And yeah, it can be useful. So Tower Shield's got more uses than just that extra +2 to AC. But it does have that. It does make you a little less good, with your attack. I think what, like a -2 to your attack if you have like all the feats and everything for it. So that kind of sucks. But I don't know. It's an option. But yeah, the fighter can get other stuff. So one level dip in fighter is generally not bad, especially if you're doing a martial build. And the crazy thing about martial builds is dipping is often really good for martial builds, because you can take like one fighter, one barbarian, one this, one that, one the other thing. As long as they all have good base attack bonuses, you're really not sacrificing much of anything by just dipping around in a bunch of different classes, because you're still getting that base attack bonus every level, and that's really what you care about most. And you're getting all the class features that they get at first level, which a lot of classes do get good stuff at first level. So yeah, it can be a really good option to take 1 or 2 levels. Yeah, and if you're a human, you take no penalties for multi-classing if you stick to 1 or 2, and then just have one class that takes more. Or, if you're not a human, you can just stick with 1 or 2 to everything, and then, take some prestige classes that don't count against that for multi-classing penalties. So, yeah, options. That's the thing I love about 3.5 is there are options, a lot of options. With casters, less so with multi-classing. Like if you're a wizard, you know, and you're trying to make like a strong wizard, you're going to want to take like 4 to 6 levels of wizard. And then you're going to want to start like taking prestige classes that give full casting, which are limited. Like there's a decent number of them, but it does limit your choices a lot to stick only to, you know, classes that fully advance your casting. So, you know, that is a restriction, and playing within the restrictions is part of the fun of making builds. But I don't know. I just find it is fun when you end up with like a martial build, which isn't as good, but you know, you can you have a little bit more fun, room to play. So, what's the one thing I missed about being in 5e? What's the one thing I missed about being in 5e was the prestige classes. Yeah, 5e doesn't have prestige classes. It has subclasses instead, which not as good in my opinion. I see what they were doing. It is simpler because now you just kind of pick one and go with it, but you lose a lot of the like creativity where, you know, you can mix different prestige classes together in order to make interesting builds that can do multiple different things. Whereas with 5e, you kind of, not kind of, you're very much hard stuck with one subclass option. You cannot take both options, or you cannot take multiple subclass options with the same class. It's just straight up not allowed in 5e. So that kind of sucks. It's a lot more limiting in that regard. That's the one thing. Gotcha. One more question. Do you think taking levels of Ranger or Fighter before taking levels in Paladin is a good idea for more feats and skill points? Or does it hold you back in other things too much? Hard to say which order. Generally, I go with Paladin first, just because the thought of like starting as something else and then becoming a Paladin is kind of weird. But you know, it really depends on if you're going to go full into Paladin, which I do not recommend. Paladin really doesn't get much of anything after 4th level, and really their best stuff they get it by 2nd level. They're a great 2-level dip, but they don't get a lot after. They really don't get much past 4th level, like at all. Like 4th level is the last level you really want to take Paladin. So yeah, but it could be great to like mix Paladin with Fighter and Ranger. Yeah, that can be a really solid option, especially with just like 1 level of Fighter, maybe 2. Sorry, I was using voice chat. All good, all good. But yeah, for Ranger and Fighter, Fighter probably just take 1. Ranger depends on what you're taking Ranger for. If you're trying to take it to get like endurance and, you know, the favorite enemy or weapon style, like I'm not sure what your reasoning for going Ranger is. They get a number of things that are pretty useful, but it really depends on what your goal is with them. Fighter, I mean, you take it to get. I mean, if you're mixing Paladin, you lose some of it, like because you know a lot of the reasons to take Fighter is weapon proficiency. Paladins already get it. That's through Rangers, and as well as armor proficiency. Paladins already get it. The only thing you really gain in terms of proficiencies is tower shields, or you know, one shield of your choice, one exotic shield. Whereas, and then you get the 1 bonus feat. So you're not getting a whole lot adding Fighter if you're taking Paladin as well. So keep that in mind. Fighter's definitely a better dip class when you're not adding, you know, Paladin on it. Like it's much better for like a Ranger Barbarian kind of build. because they're not getting much in terms of armor proficiency, and adding fighter, it adds that armor proficiency to let them be, tankier. So that is a big benefit. Also the bonus feat, they get that one at first and then another at second. So, that is a reason if you really need more feats, especially early in the game. Grabbing a couple levels of fighter can be good. But yeah, that's just something to keep in mind. When you take a class, make sure you know why you're taking it. Like, what's the purpose of it? Other classes that you definitely want to look into for that is stuff from the Tome of Battle, like the Crusader. Very good classes, generally better than the stuff that you're getting in the Player's Handbook. So, yeah, definitely decent options. I don't know, maybe even Dip Knight. I don't know. I haven't looked into how bad Knight is, but maybe it's worth a dip. I don't know. It could be very much not. I genuinely have no idea. Let's see. What other things? Trying to think of what other stuff. But yeah, fighters. For melee builds, definitely good on that. You may even look into special races, like the orc might not be a bad option, or the half orc. Consider the dwarf or the Goliath. They're pretty solid options for a melee type build. Goliath does have that level adjustment, but they get some pretty good stuff that do make up for it, and you can buy off the level adjustment pretty early, and it's only a +1, so it's not the biggest deal in the world. It won't set you back too much. I was just going to suggest Tome of Battle. Yeah, Tome of Battle is the de facto book for melee builds. Yeah, there are some great stuff in the base game. Well, technically not fully base, but if you're using splat books like Lion Totem, I believe, Barbarian. Really, really awesome. Gives you pounce in exchange for, can't remember if it's your rage or the 10-foot move speed. I think it's the 10-foot move speed that you trade in order to get pounce. And it's pretty nice, just, being able to, full attack and move on a charge. Very, very nice. Yes, you do need, a nice straight line to the target in order to do it, but definitely very doable. And with some stuff from Tome of Battle, there's a couple of maneuvers and stuff, or I don't think it's maneuvers, but yeah, there's a couple of maneuvers. That's what it is, that will let you do short range teleports, which can be used to get that line. So very, very useful. And I think it's a swift action. So you could swift action and then full round action charge and get your attack. You don't get very much range. I think it's 10, maybe 20 feet that you can move with it, but that's often enough to get you a nice clear line. So yeah, there are some pretty cool ways to make some nice stuff. And then, if you can make it work, typically you start Barbarian and then you say, hey, you know what? I had a change of heart and I'm lawful now. And now that I'm lawful, I'm going to now that I'm lawful, I am going to become a paladin, and I'm going to now have my line of attack. I'm now going to have my smite evil, and then you can use your smite, especially if you take 4 levels and trade your mount for a charge. You can do this stupidly powerful charge and full attack. And yeah, you can get some really, really strong stuff by, just mixing and matching various different features on various different classes. You can get some cool stuff. I've seen that in action. So yeah, there's some really cool builds that I've seen done. Personally, I don't know. I tend to go with the less optimal ones myself, just because I don't know. I like the fun of it. Like I like the Mystic the Urge. Mixing cleric and wizard is fun for me. I just do. And I almost always worship Bocop when I make a character like that, because why wouldn't you if you're a cleric wizard? Just seems to make sense to me. Um, and honestly, Bocop really should be a Mystic the Urge. Like, let's be real about it. Like, his stats in the deities and demigods are kind of dumb. Like, at the very least, instead of making him a 20th level cleric, 20th level wizard, make him a 15th level cleric, 15th level wizard, 10th level Mystic the Urge. Like, come on. That makes him, like, way better. It's like, oh, yeah, now he just, maybe has slightly less health, but in exchange, his caster level for cleric and wizard both went up by 5. Seems like a no-brainer to me to do that. Honestly, he probably needs more buffs than that, but at the very least, he should be getting that. So, yeah. Honestly, I'd probably take, if I was, at the very least, I'd take more away in that Geomancer if I'm being real. That'd be an even better option. That way, he's getting, even more buffs, like 30-30, or 30-30, 10 and 10, or not 30, 10, 10, 10, 10. Yeah, that's right. In Cleric Wizard, Geomancer, and Mystic the Urge, like, it's not a great build. It still needs more work, but we're at least moving in the right direction here. Now he's, what, 25th level caster, and can also cast all of his spells while he can also cast all of his spells using int and in armor. Sounds like a win to me. And he gets a few other little bonuses. Okay. There's so many things that were made way too long ago and didn't really have a lot of full thought put into them. Like I've said before several times, a lot of these books like Deities and Demigods, they really need rework. If I'm going to be using gods in my game, I'm going to be reworking their stats. I'm not going to use them as is for the most part. Some of them maybe, like Tiamat and like Bahamut, but other ones, I'm probably going to rework, because I don't know, they just probably need better stuff than what they got. And I do like the idea of throwing gods at my players, even early game. Like, you don't throw hostile gods that are trying to kill them early game, except for maybe as some looming threat. But to have them directly interact with them, it could make sense. Like Farglorn, or however the heck you say his name. I don't know. I think Sven left, or maybe Sven's still here. Something tells me he might know how to pronounce that name. It seems to be the same kind of origin as Sven. It seems to have a Scandinavian origin, which I cannot pronounce a lot of that. But anyways, he's the god of roads, and he does, he does his thing running around, just traveling. He's like Forrest Gump during that one part of the movie where he just goes around and he just runs. Because he just feels like running. And to be a fun god to just throw at your players, even in an early game. It's not a complex encounter. Could be as simple as you're walking down the road when you see an old man coming up behind you at a fast pace. And everyone's maybe bracing or stuff. He continues past at fast speed, and then just passing you and moving on his way. It's okay. He wasn't trying to fight. He was just moving a lot faster than you, and he just passed you. or maybe he's going the other way, and you see him coming towards you at a high speed, and then like he just goes past. Or you can make it even more, even a bit more of a memorable encounter. Say there's a roadblock ahead and you're stuck, and then you could either have it so that as you're sitting there, you see a man coming up behind you at full speed. You see him wave his hand to the side, and suddenly the roadblock clears itself, and he runs past you, heading down the road ahead. The path now clear for you to go past. So, and this is, after they've been sitting at the roadblock figuring out what they're going to do with it for, a few minutes. You let the players deliberate, figure out what they're going to do. And, while they're still trying to figure it out and, rubbing their, and, just kind of going like, what am I going to do? He just comes, fixes the problem and heads off. It's like, all right, well, that just happened, or maybe he comes from the other side. Like they're just sitting there and all of a sudden they just see the roadblock get cleared. And, then maybe they start to head down the path, and a little ways through, because maybe it's a big roadblock that goes on, for a long ways. They see an old man come running past the other way at high speed. And they're like, wait, what just happened? Maybe have them roll a knowledge religion check to figure it out. I don't know, just some fun ideas that you could always throw at players. I don't know, I'm just spitballing, coming up with stuff to chat about while I wait for you guys to have more questions and whatnot, because, yeah. But yeah, just kind of rambling in the meantime. But yeah, I don't know, I think that's a pretty cool idea for a campaign, or not campaign, but for like just a little like one-off encounter with a god. Nothing crazy. Just there he is. There he goes. You could even make it more sinister too, like where he like thwarts your plans. Like, okay, the city's in danger from being attacked by the goblins, and so we set up like this barricade to keep the goblins out. Then all of a sudden they just see this old man running down the road towards the city, and he just clears the barricade as he like runs past and runs through the city. Just the door swinging open for him. So he just runs past and runs through without a care in the world, just breaching the city's defenses on his way through. That could be a thing, which would be like, oh, well, so now we got to figure out what to do about that, because that just happened. God just completely completely screwed up our plan. While you're listening to the Halfling Bard, his kids are busy. While you're listening to the Halfling Bard, his kids are busy streaming the wheels of your chat. While you're listening to the Halfling Bard, his kids are busy. Got it. While you're listening to the Halfling Bard, his kids are busy stealing the wheels off your car. God, it took me a sec. Text-to-speech, guy. I get what happened there. But yeah, that is a thing people can do. I have seen that happen. Or, you have the bard like doing that. Meanwhile, the rogue is stealing everything from your cart. Yeah, I caught you on a while. Took me a second, but yeah, I figured it out eventually. But yeah, definitely a thing that can be done. Could be done with the party I'm in right now, actually. We do have a bard and a rogue, so that is a possibility. Yeah, and my character, who is the Mystic the Urge, he could do some stuff too. He's definitely pretty good at like distracting people. He's got a few things that he can do, like his go-to move of Summon Monkey. Good old Summon Monkey. That's his go-to. Summon Nature's Ally 1, summon a Celestial Monkey, have Monkey do things. And you can do a lot with a Celestial Monkey. Not normally combat things, but it can be useful in combat, even if he's not like attacking. Useful with benign transposition. Summon Monkey over there. Like, I'm here, I want to go here. All right, summon monkey here, feline transposition, boom, now I'm where I want to go. And monkey's back where I was, and I don't really care. Uh, he's behind enemy lines in danger, whatever. He's just a monkey. Who gives a crap? I use them for all sorts of stuff. There's a vial of some strange liquid. You don't know what it is. Huh. Well, summon monkey. Hey, monkey, take a sip. See what happens. There's a door up ahead. The rogue isn't there at the moment. We're not sure if it's trapped. All right, everybody stand back. Summon monkey. Monkey, open that door for us. See if it's trapped. Summon monkey's very useful, because unlike a lot of summons, they have hands. So they can grab a vial and try and drink it. That's something a monkey can do. Or they can grab a doorknob and try and turn it and open it. And, potentially trigger any traps. They can walk down a hallway too, which, a lot of things can, but things monkeys can do a lot of things other animals can't because they're monkeys and they got hands. But you can also summon them with a first level spell. And yeah, I like to use summon monkey as like my go-to for a lot of stuff. It's a very useful spell. The last time I used it, I used the monkey as a distraction. He was peeking in windows because I didn't want to look like a perv and try it myself. So I let the monkey do it. And I had him not be subtle about it. And so he was just, making all sorts of noise, peeking into windows, making a big old scene. Meanwhile, I'm just like, whoop. That's not me. Meanwhile, the rest of the party, they're being all stealthy about their checking through windows. Me, I'm like, nah, let's have the monkey go crazy. And let him go wild while I kind of just act naturally, So, lots of options for what you can do with a monkey. Lots of fun stuff that this character gets up to. Summon monkey's definitely one of his like go-to spells. I was thinking about it for a while too, because I'm thinking of maybe getting intuitive spell, that feat, and I was like, if I do that, what spell would I want? What spell would I want to give up a 9th level spell slot in order to be able to cast at will? And it'd have to be a 1st level spell. It's like, it'd have to be from my cleric list on him. Oh, summon monkey, gotta be summon monkey. We're summon monster 1, and then we just have him be able to summon monkey as a freaking, summon as a spell like ability at will. So it's like, I'm not doing anything this turn. I can just summon as many monkeys as I want without having to burn resources because I have a 9th level spell powering a 1st level spell like ability. It's a thing. I don't know when I'll do it or if I'll even do it, but it is an option that I am considering. And the prereqs for it aren't too bad. It's just silent spell, still spell, and quicken spell, which are all really great meta magic feats that I'm going to want to take anyways. Those are the ones that you really want for epic levels because there's the automatic quicken, automatic silent, and automatic still feats, which are really, really good. Even with the nerf where you only get like 1 level, so you'd have to take 27 feats in total to be able to have all your spells silenced, stilled, and quickened. But honestly, worth 27 feats to have all your spells silenced, quickened, and stilled. It's a lot of feats, and you're going to be stupid high level, but very worth. And also, you take the feat that gives you more quickened spells per turn, which honestly I think deserves a nerf in that it should have its prereqs upped every time you take it, so that you can only take it like every 10 levels, basically. Personally, I think that epic feat needs that nerf because just being able to take that every turn and just massively upping your action economy is not every turn, but like every feat. It's just too broken. So personally, I think making it so that every time you take it, the requirements are 10 more ranks in the skill that it requires. I think that's fair, and I think that would like balance the epic feat perfectly. In all honesty, just slow down how often you can take it. Once every 10 levels, yeah, it's probably fine. Instead of like once every 3, plus being able to grab it as bonus feats and whatnot. A little bit broken there. But yeah, that's but that's stuff I'm thinking of for him. If you guys got any questions or anything, like, feel free to let me know, or anything you guys want to talk about. Like I say, I'm just rambling while I wait for you guys to come up with something to talk about. But what else? I'm going to probably continue with my Complete Warrior shorts going forward. Probably going to make one a couple hours after I end this stream, which is going to be a little over an hour from now. So that's a thing. So it'll be later tonight, because after I finish the stream, I'm going to be doing a few things before I actually make that short, but I will make it tonight most likely, and then I'll probably also go in and get some other maybe start working on my next video for the Complete Adventure. I'm not even sure which one it is, to be honest. I'm going to grab the Complete Adventure so that we can figure that out. So I can get an idea of what I'm going to be working on, and I don't know, talk with you guys about it. I guess that could be cool. Let's see, I need this, and then I need this. I got Complete Warrior while I'm at it, so we could talk about feats as well, because I'm going to be making that. Figure while I was there, might as well grab it, But yeah, my process for making it is I literally, like, if you're curious how I figure out like what feat I'm going to be making, it's real simple. So I start at the top. I start with the first one, and then I just kind of make my way all the way. Man, it's hard to do this backwards. So yeah, I guess the next one, Eagle's Claw, I guess. Object you may. Not the greatest. I see some uses. Could be good, decent for a monk, but not the greatest. Better than a lot of the stuff I've been covering recently, though. So yeah, that's going to be the one I do. It's just next. I'm just literally going alphabetically through it, and then like once I finish the general feats, then I'll move on to the next type of feats. So really simple process. I'm not really doing anything too complicated. And then let's see, what's the next one? Spy Master's what I just did. So I guess we're doing the Street Fighter next. So that's going to be our next one. I have no idea if it's good or not because I haven't looked at it at all. Looks like very much a martial one. Okay, but not seeing any major red flags so far. So, but yeah, that's what I'm going to be covering next. So yeah, that'll be my next video is the Street Fighter. I'm listening, nice. But yeah, Street Fighter will be, I guess, our next one that we're doing. Because it's just next alphabetically in the Complete Adventure. That's literally my system. Like it's not complicated figuring out like what my next video is going to be. I don't have much of a system for figuring it out. It'll be Street Fighter and then Tempest and then Thief Acrobat, Street Fighter, Stand Tough. Yeah, that is one of their abilities. Yeah. No idea if it's good. I haven't read it, but I will before I make the video, because that's my process. Is I will read it before making the video. I will also message one of my friends on Discord, being like, "Hey, what are your thoughts on this?" And then he'll give me his thoughts. I'll read it myself and form my own thoughts. Kind of incorporate his thoughts into it as well, and then if I disagree with some of the stuff he said, then we'll discuss it, and I'll figure out, why he disagrees. See if I kind of agree with him or not when I make the video. Yeah, because it's good to have an extra pair of eyes to, catch mistakes. That way, I have more accurate information to give. So, yeah, that's kind of my process. I read it, I ask my friend about it, and then I just kind of process everything together and just kind of word vomit it all out. I don't really have a script when I do it. I just talk about it and then just spitball it, kind of like I'm doing right now. Yeah, I don't know. That's probably why my videos come out the way they do. Is they're not like super polished. Hi, argue. Nice. What's up, J Not? Hi, Sven. Good to have you here. I wouldn't mind seeing more things on rogues. Yeah, I probably will be making a video on the rogue at some point. I haven't made too much extra things on rogues. When I've made videos in the past where I go into more detail on stuff, generally it's just based off of what got the most views. Like if videos did well, I'll make follow-ups to them. And then if videos didn't, then I generally don't make follow-ups. That's kind of been my policy on that one. But yeah, Mitch, that's basically how I do that. Is people are or if people are watching videos a lot, or if a lot of people watch the video, I'll make a follow-up. If not too many people watched it, probably won't make a follow-up. Which is part of why I make so many videos on why you should be playing 3.5 instead of 5e, because those do really well. So I make a lot of those videos. I got a master list for the 3.0-3.5 feats, and I noticed that halfling feats suck. Ooh, nice. Yeah, you should send me that. Are you on my Discord, J-Not? If not, you should definitely join and message that somewhere, because I could definitely use a master list somewhere for various reasons. Not so much for making the shorts, just like I've mentioned. I don't think you were here quite yet, but I literally just pick a book and then I just go through all of them. And right now it's Late Warrior's turn, just going through them, just go through all the feats in that book, finish it, move to the next book, and then just repeat. That's kind of my process. Same with for classes, races, and prestige classes. Pick a book, do all the classes, races, and prestige classes in that, move on to the next book. And very simple system. Not too complicated, in all honesty. And I try and stick with the basic books first, which is, why I haven't covered a lot of the more niche type books. Like I haven't covered Heroes of Horror yet. Is that on my list? Yeah. It's not too high up on the list. It's going to be a little while before I cover that. I got some other stuff I'm going to do first. But it's one of the books I own, so it will get covered. And honestly, every book, even the ones I don't own, will probably get covered at some point, because my plan is to, when I start running out of books that I haven't covered, that, when I've covered almost all the books that I own, that's when it's like, oh, I should buy more books. That's when I'll start to invest more heavily in that. Or maybe sooner if I get the money, because from all sources, SRD, third party, nice. Especially if they're listed, especially if you have the source listed on all of them, that helps a lot too. I know some of them, they're listed in multiple sources, so if it lists all the sources, that's even better, especially if it's listed chronologically. That helps too. So and obviously 3.0 typically does not count if a 3.5 version also exists. 3.5 version, 3.0 sources are only valid if a 3.5 version does not also exist. Halflings in Eberron settings are kind of cool. There's dragon marked, and there are steep halflings that use dinosaurs as mounts. Ooh, interesting. That's kind of cool. Or I guess step, not steep. I always pronounce that wrong, but yeah, I get that's kind of cool. I haven't played many settings. I played a little bit of Eberron. Yeah, at least I think. I think it was Eberron. I don't know. I played a few different settings, but very little. I think it was Eberron and then Dragonlance. I played very like a small amount of, but honestly, I couldn't tell you which one's which. I played so little. Yeah, the Eberron Pharaoh feats were the only ones on the list worth a day, worth a darn sin. You're right. Fair. I'm definitely going to look more into which the campaign settings in the future. Right now, not a ton, but yeah, it's definitely something I do plan to look at some point. Yeah, it's just right now. Yeah. Uh, right now, I've been focusing more on the more core stuff, and I'll work on them as I go. Yeah, and I don't own any of the settings books, so that's part of it. Um, yeah. As for my open game, only books I own will actually my open world game that I'm thinking of running. Which I mean, if you guys are interested, let me know because that will, help me, uh, you know, decide whether or not I'm going to run it anytime soon. Like if I get an actual player base that's down, yeah. But basically, it'll be like this is going to be paid to play, so you don't have to, but it's going to be what 15-20 bucks a session per person, and yeah, so just keep that in mind. But basically, it's going to be a game where it's open rules, it's open source, starts core, and all the books that I own, well, most of the books that I own are in the world at some point. Not all, and there's a reason for that. Like I have the Fiendish Codex 1 and 2. Those will not exist in the world at base. The Book of Vile Darkness will, and when you unlock the Book of Vile Darkness, that will cause the Fiendish Codex books to pop into existence. So, there are some times where, there are some books that, in order to have them even exist in the world to be unlocked, you have to unlock other books first. Like you'll probably have to unlock the monster manuals in order. So 1, 2, and the first one, the core will already be unlocked to start, as will the rules compendium. But every other book will have to be unlocked. But 2, 3, Monster Manual 3 probably won't exist in the world until the Monster Manual 2 is unlocked, and so on and so forth. And then, like I say, the Fiendish Codexes won't exist in the world until the Book of Vile Darkness is unlocked. And then, like other books that I don't own, like Eberron, if somebody that won't exist in my world, but if I were to obtain the book somehow, either I get the money and I'm able to buy it, or if players are like, what, I really want Eberron to exist in your world, so I'm going to buy you the books so that you will make them exist, so that we can find them and unlock them. Like, cool. You don't gotta do that, but cool. Like it's an option. But yeah, like I don't expect anyone to do that. Although I wouldn't be surprised if someone did either. Yeah, it's just an idea. Mitch, Catch, what's up, J Not? Not sure. Are you gonna hit me with that again? You don't have to if you are, but like seriously, dude, you've been like overly generous. Yeah, like that first stream that I did actually made as much money as I would have made working at fast food during that time because of your donation. Like I did the math. It was pretty crazy because I think I get like 70% of money from super chats or like donations and stuff. I'm pretty sure YouTube keeps like 30%. And yeah, for 2.5 hours and $35, yeah, that's about how much I'd make working fast food. for 2.5 hours. So, yeah, I don't expect to make it's like this is way more fun than working fast food. I'll tell you that much. Fast food sucks. Doesn't pay very good, but it sucks. It's not the worst job. Like the stress is lower than a lot of places, and management tends to be. Get the link. I didn't notice a link. Catch the link. Nope. I'm not seeing a link in YouTube. Erased it. It's probably like a settings. I don't know how to like change that either. It's not showing up. Let's see. Maybe it's in my back end because it's not showing up in an obvious place. But it's possible it's somewhere. So I'm going to try and figure that out real fast. Happened to me too. Really? You had a link that you sent that got erased? Because I was not aware of that. That's not something that's... Stupid. Got a thing blocking my UI from an extension I have. It's just... Besides, it's going to block things. I don't even use this extension, really. If I get rid of that, that'll... Sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to... There we go. View... Comments. Huh. Yeah, I don't know where it'd be at. Yeah, I don't know where to find it because I don't know where YouTube's putting. Our comments are always not getting posted. Are not always getting posted. Interesting. Hey, the sort of link popped up. Probably because you did it different. Comments. See that? I see it. Weird. I don't know where they're showing up. Or participants, reactions. Interesting. I do see it. It's not. I mean, it's because you didn't make it as a link, obviously, to get past it. Take the space out from the front of the www. Yeah, I figured that's what you did. And also, I imagine that dot at the end is probably not part of it. So, like, I get what's... Like, I get it. Didn't work. Maybe the dot needs to stay. I'm just trying to figure out how to get that to work. Yep, nope, that didn't do it. Take this. Yeah, I tried taking the space out, and that is not enough to make it work for some reason. There. Oh, there. Nope. Trying to figure this out. You should join the Discord. That'll make this so much easier. If I'm being real. Take the rest of the words after .pdf. Yeah, that's what I'm trying after because I realized the. Oh, so okay. I see where it is. It's because there's one where I wasn't. Still no. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Gotcha. I don't know. Maybe next time because that's yeah. Not a link, just comments. Got it. Weird that it's taking stuff out because I don't know what it's taking out because yeah, like moderation activity. I have that's not. Weird. Maybe now it'll show what's going on because it wasn't before. Yeah, I don't know. That's crazy. I can't connect to the website. Yeah, the fact that you had the word racial right next to .pdf, that threw me for a sec. But I figured that part out eventually. But even so, let's see if there's maybe more that's causing the issue. Hey, okay, I got it that time. Apparently, I had accidentally copied like a space in front of the HTTP. Okay, now I'm seeing it. Okay, got our feats. Geez, 191 pages? That is a lot of pages. Does it actually like have what the feats do as well? It does indeed. That's crazy. Prerequisites, source. Dang, that's pretty cool. So finally I got it working. Behold the list. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Sure. Bookmark it just in case, so I can check it out later. Took me a bit to figure out how to make that work, and also now maybe I'll see when people are when messages are getting deleted by YouTube. Because yeah, that was weird. That was indeed weird. Yeah, I was so confused because you're like catching. I'm like, what are you talking about? Yeah, I didn't do anything. That wasn't on my end. Yeah. So, anyways, but yeah, that's cool to have a list like that. Be useful for whatchamajigger. Like if I'm trying to build, or for like doing certain builds and stuff. One idea that I kind of want to do. Now you have enough feats to do 2 a day for 3 years, something like that. There are a lot of feats in there. I'm not going to be doing 2 a day for 3 years, but that's pretty cool. I'm going to stick with 1 a day, partially because YouTube doesn't like when you put more than 1 a day out. It kind of hurts to put more than 1 out per day. So yeah, YouTube won't. If I put more than 3 things out in a single day, YouTube won't send them out to everyone, which was something I was running into in the past when I was really grinding hard and trying to do like 3 videos a day, sometimes putting out more. Yeah, that was a fun time. I was really grinding and I burned myself out pretty hard. I was like late 2020, early 2021. Yeah, I got so many videos are from that era because of like how much crazy effort I was putting in at that time. Now I'm being much more reasonable. Honestly, probably too lax, but I'm working on trying to build that up again. But yeah, I'm trying to put like a little bit of effort into a video every day, like do one step towards a video every day and one short every day, which a short is a single step process. Like, yeah, shorts are not like the crazy, insanely difficult things that videos are. Like the short process, I grab my phone. I'm like, hey, I'm going to make this video, blah, 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 blah. I just talk into it over there in the corner. And then I'm like, I'll read, like, seriously, my process for making shorts is I literally go in and say, okay, Eagle Claw Attack, prereqs Wisdom 13, improved Thunder, improved unarmed strike, benefit when you make an unarmed strike against an object, you may add your Wisdom bonus to the damage dealt to the object. And I think about that for a second. I'm like, okay, how good is that? What kind of, where could I maybe use it? Like, I try and think through, just what the feat is and like how to like best describe it. Because a lot of the times there's a more common sense way to describe it than what's written in the book. Like there's reasons why it's written the way it is, because, they, want to make it clear for like rules lawyers. But like I translated to a more like, just user friendly version, and I'll, say it that way. But I do all that translating. Then once I'm done, I just pull out the phone and I'm just like, blah, 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 blah. It's this, that, here's this feed. I do my spiel, try and get it all in one go so that I don't have to edit. Then I'll go into my phone, into Movie Maker, do what I need to do to make it there. And then I just upload it, fix the auto captions that YouTube generates to make it actually accurate, which isn't too bad. It does a pretty good job. Then I just kind of make it big, move it into place, and upload. It's pretty quick. It doesn't take me that long. I can knock out a short in like 5-10 minutes, pretty easy. It's a pretty fast process. And that's from start to finish. That's from me cracking the book open, figuring out what feed I'm covering, reading it, to hitting upload. Like it's the whole everything, maybe 5 minutes. Pretty quick. Unlike videos, which take a lot longer. Let's see. Now you got proper fuel to add to the feed files. I do, but I mean, I wasn't really hurting too much on that anyways. Like I still have all of Complete Warrior to cover, Complete Divine, Complete Arcane, Complete Adventurer. I got, all of Complete Scoundrel, Complete Mage, Complete Psionics. What's the other one? Complete. What's the other one? Well, the other one, I can't remember the name. And then, I have like a ton of other books still. So I'm good, trust me, but I do appreciate it. And, if I ever make the main reason why that is useful to me is if I wanted to make something where I could make random builds. I just think the idea of making I like random, and having a list like that is one of the steps that would be required to making a true random build generator. Because you could like list all the prerequisites and like all the feats, and then just have that listed with all the prereqs, and then make it so that every time you get a feat, it'll look up and say, hey, which of these do you qualify for because you meet the prereqs, and then just randomly pick one feat that you happen to meet all the prereqs for, including ones that don't have prereqs, and you'll just get that. And but I want to take it to the whole crazy level of let's assign a random race to the start, let's assign a freaking random gender, random class every single level, and then see if you can actually take the class. Probably start with a random alignment, and then whittle down which classes you can actually take from there. So yeah, just kind of craziness that I have as ideas. So is what it is. Um, so there's a lot more that would be needed for that, but this is at least a good first step into probably the easiest of them is figuring out a random beat, because I don't know, not as much involved with that as with some of the other stuff. So yeah, that's kind of the main thing with that. But yeah, I'm definitely set on that, and part of it is I do kind of want to own the book on anything I cover, for copyright reasons. I don't know how much it helps if I actually own the physical books for the stuff that I make videos on, but I do own the books for everything I make videos on. So yeah. Yes, 3.5, when alignment actually mattered. Exactly. Alignment does matter in 3.5, and that's a huge thing. Like some classes it doesn't, like fighter, who cares? But paladin, oh yeah, they care. Standard paladin has to be lawful good. They care more than most. Druids, they're incompatible with a lot of the paladins. The standard paladin, as well as all the paladins from Unearthed Arcana, are incompatible with Druid. There are other paladins that are compatible, but it's tricky to make work. And like sometimes you have to, go out of your way for, like, sometimes it's really hard to make a build work because alignment restrictions. And honestly, it's frustrating, but kind of fun. Like it's a fun challenge to try and figure out how to get around them. Yeah. At least I personally enjoy that. Like some of them are tough. Like the bard, yeah, making a lawful bard is, as far as I can find, impossible. I don't think there's a way to have a bard that's lawful. I don't think there are any variants of the bard that can be lawful. I looked it up. I couldn't find them. Yeah, and then like I think the same is true for barbarian. And druid, I don't think it's possible to. I don't think there's any variants of druid that can be the four corners alignments. Pretty sure they have to be at least somewhat neutral. So yeah. Whereas other classes, they have variants to ease the restrictions, and like paladin, there's versions for every alignment. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's fun, and like the version of paladin you pick for that alignment really changes your character a lot. And they do have to take just as strict of a vow. It's just a different vow. Like, the standard paladin has to obey authority and always do good. It's like, okay. And then you have the paladin of slaughter, and it's like, all right, you cannot respect the authority of anyone that hasn't demonstrated their physical superiority to you. And also you must cause death and destruction at every available opportunity. It's like, got it. Be a murder hobo that kills everything, and the only time that they're not killing stuff is when they're not in a position to do so, because that would be suicide. Like you don't just walk into town and start murdering everyone. You'll probably get killed by the guards and whatnot. But they try and be at least somewhat smart about their murder hobo ways. Really have to put some thought into your build. Exactly. That's what's so fun about it, is like you have to put thought into the build. It's like, how do I make this work? You can probably make it work with what exists, but doing so can be really tricky. It's like a fun puzzle to try and solve of how do I make this build work with all the various restrictions that exist, because every prestige class has its restrictions. A lot of classes have restrictions. There's alignments that are a thing, so you have to make sure that you pick an alignment that's compatible with all your classes and prestige classes. You have to make sure you're taking all the feats that you need, or sometimes you're not getting them as fast, or sometimes they require base attack bonus of a certain amount. So you have to find a way to hit that by certain levels so that you can get things in time. Like, it's a whole fun puzzle, and yeah, that's one of the things I love about making builds in 35 is like there's just so many moving parts in finding out how to like move them all into get them all to like fit into place in a way that makes the build work. That I find it's just fun because half the time you're trying and like you're like, okay, if I do this that'll work, but then that breaks the other thing, and like, yeah, I don't know, it's really just a lot of fun. That's the absolute best thing for me. Yeah, 100%. So many different options. Yeah, 100%. And choices. You can wind up with truly unique characters that can go so many ways. 100%. And the fact that there are restrictions actually add to that. In that, like, you're not just picking the best things, because sometimes in order to get certain things, you have to make certain compromises and like take like some random prestige class you never would have even considered, just because it happens to be the secret piece to make your build actually work. Sometimes that happens, and you take some obscure prestige class that's not really that great, but taking a dip in it is the way to make your build work. And all right, guess you're doing that. Or some obscure feat happens to be the secret piece of the puzzle. Like, that's 100% a thing. How I solve the puzzle better than most min max. Exactly. You min max, and to me, min maxing, it's not just minimizing errors and minimizing weaknesses, maximizing strengths. I like to maximize both. I like to have a minimized, maximized character where he's really, really good at some stuff, and really, really shitty at other stuff, and that makes for a fun character, in my opinion. And if you have a party full of characters that are really good at some shit and really bad at other shit, and they're all good and like they're good at different shit and bad at different shit, then like they cover each other's weaknesses, and you make like a really strong party that just has great synergy, and their weaknesses aren't really a thing because like the weakness of one is covered by another, and like the sum of the whole is like much greater than the sum of the parts. And yeah, that's what I find really fun about D&D, is making characters that are really great at some stuff, really bad at other stuff, and then having other players that also are doing the same philosophy but with different builds where you can cover each other's weaknesses and have a team that just works really well together. I have returned. Yo, what's up, Solar? Glad to have you here, Solar Drake Iceland. Hope things are going well for you. And I'm assuming Iceland. Hi, Solar. Hi, Cash. It helps you build flaw. It helps you build flaws and character personality. Yes, exactly. Having flaws builds character personality. That's one of the things I love about it. Like, you make this like big, like I like the big strong brute that like hits like a tank, and he is one hell of a warrior. But he's dumb as rocks, and is kind of an asshole. That makes for a character. It's like, hey, he's a big dumb brute who's kind of a jerk. That's an interesting character, and like having it and like hamming up like where he's struggling intellectually and like diplomatically, like playing out the struggles of that, where like he's just he's struggling to figure it out, or like he's struggling to talk to someone, just like fucking grabs his axe, like that's cool. That makes for a dynamic character. Or the exact opposite, where you have this like badass wizard who's like capable of all these crazy magic feats, but it's like, okay, we need to carry this armor. It's like, shit, I don't have a spell for that. It's like, just pick it up. It's like, nah, that's way too heavy. I can't pick up that piece of armor. It's like 20 pounds, man. I can't lift 20 pounds. That is interesting. Just watching this like badass sorcerer or wizard like just struggle to lift 20 pounds because they're just weak. It's like, I don't have a spell ready for that. It's my engineering. Yeah, same. Like I do the same kind of stuff. Like uh, yeah, I'm pretty meh at the moment. I'm about to go to bed. It's 3:25 a.m. Dang, that is early. Uh, yeah, really early. I'm guessing you're not in Iceland, and that's just part of your name then. 'Cause I don't think that's what time it is in Iceland right now. Uh, so that's more like Australia, Asia kind of place, I think. I took a major flaw to get extra feeds. Yeah, that can be fun to do too. I do like doing flaws for that. Um, I took shaky for my paladin. I can't shoot or throw anything, and my stealth sucks. Yeah, see, that kind of stuff can be really fun. Um, or honestly, for mages, sometimes I'll even make their constitution suck, which is a dangerous game to play. But having if I play that game, it's usually going to be a charisma based character, because I want to be able to talk my way out of stuff. Uh, being likable is kind of necessary if you're going to be playing with stupidly low health. But I did have a charisma-based character that was a caster. I forget exactly what it was. I think it was like a sorcerer of some kind. But yeah, he had terrible health, and I don't know. It was fun. I didn't get to play him much, but it was a really cool idea. I was really looking forward to playing him. Good night, Solar, my friend. Yeah, night, Solar. Uh, it is the time in Iceland. Oh, interesting. That's cool. And I guess you are from Iceland, which not a big surprise. I mean, it is in your name. Uh, uh, there's nothing like brute force and ignorance. Yeah, that can be a really fun build. A big dumb brute who doesn't know jack crap, like brute force, ignorance, and like both kinds of ignorance, both dumb and also like ignorant and like maybe just a little bit racist. That's always fun. You're an orc and you're like, yeah, stupid elves, stupid dwarves, hate those things. You know, very fun stuff. You know, fantasy racism's different because humans are humans, and it's also fake. Uh, Time is 5:28 in the morning in Denmark. Dang. Okay, I guess I'm off on my times. Do you actually roll for the ages? Not usually. I usually just pick an age, and same with height and weight. I For NPCs, I'll usually roll, but for characters, nah. I don't know. People tend to just want to pick whatever height, race, like height, weight, and age and stuff. If you want to roll, fine. But like, I don't know. People tend to rather pick stuff for themselves, especially if they're playing human. Um, but yeah, I thought I'd swing by and say hi. Appreciate it there, Solar. Good to have you here. Yeah, uh, appreciate you saying hi. And hey, uh, let's see. I have a monk that is mute. Ooh, interesting. And monk is an interesting one too because monks are super mad, as in multi-ability dependent, which is not good. You really want to be sad or single ability dependent, um, because yeah, it's really hard to have a bunch of abilities that are all good. And monks really need most of their abilities. The only one that they can safely get rid of is charisma. And intelligence is also one that is often dumped but it's used for their skills, which are pretty important. But yeah, they need that strength for their damage, and or at least early on, it's pretty important for attacks as well. Dex is good for attacks and defense. Wisdom is used for a lot of their abilities, and then can also be added on for like attacks and stuff later. So it's got a lot of really important uses. In Constitution, I mean, everybody wants Constitution, especially someone that's getting in the fray. So yeah, they're a tough one because of that. Let's see. Uh, I don't cash, but have a reason for that. Did I miss something? Probably. Oh, he did. I hear what you're saying. Yeah, it's a crazy time. Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, it is very early in the morning. I would be. That's usually when I'm heading to bed as well. So I'm quite a night owl as well. Um, my buddy has a mute blind monk. Ooh, interesting. And that's actually cool for a monk because like you can get there's like I forget what it is, but I remember there's like this blindfold that you can get which blinds you, but it gives you like blind sense and stuff. So you get like you can't see, but it helps with like your other senses and stuff. So that's pretty that can make for a really cool build, especially on something like a monk. Um, in my Gestalt 3.5 Pathfinder 1E, a monk rogue uses wisdom as it as his single ability. Nice. And yeah, wisdom can very much be the ability that you focus on. Absolutely. Like so many monk abilities are based off of wisdom. Nah, you don't need con as a monk if they can't hit you with that wisdom mod to AC. That there can be some truth to that. You can get your AC quite high by adding wisdom and dex and plus your AC plus just the natural AC bonus of like was it like 3 to 5 eventually or something like that. So I guess it starts as a 1, but well, it starts as a 0, but yeah. So that helps. But anyways, that helps. Bracers of armor, always great to add on to that, which can go up to a +8. So you can get some decent numbers for sure. But again, starting to get into the mad territory with wisdom and dex. Yo, appreciate the $5 there. Shoot, let me see if I can figure out argument. Argument. How do you say your name, anyways? Yeah, I haven't figured. I'm curious, but appreciate that, man. Yeah, yes. Yeah, monks are cool. I like monks, but in order to play them well, it's tough. They get so many cool stuff, and they have so much potential to be like really, really cool. But they're so multi-ability dependent. It really hurts them. It makes them hard to actually be good, unfortunately. Now, are they fast? 100%. Monks are the fastest in the game, period. There's, with I guess the sole exception of a barbarian that only took 1 level in barbarian and then stopped being, and then decided to switch to lawful and become a monk. I guess that's better. And then there might be some other dips to throw in there, but you're going to want to be mostly monk. BRB, all good, all good. There's a build that lets you do wisdom modifier to attack, damage, AC, and saves. Nice, nice. Well, AC is already on the table, so you don't need to do that. Like monks already get AC from Dex and Wisdom, just by default. But but you still would want Dex. And I am aware of how to get it to. I am aware of feats for damage. I'm not sure about attack, or maybe it was the other way around. It saves. I'm sure there's something, but yeah, I'm sure there's ways to get it on all those. But it's like different feats for each one, and stunning fists can be useful, but it's so easy to be immune to stunning. So that does make stunning fists a lot less good. But they do get some really good stuff, like some really, really good stuff. So yeah, like being able to smash through walls is something that they get fairly early on with that adamantine fist. Not early on, but eventually they get adamantine fist, which makes it so that they can just break down walls really easy. So that's a thing. Actually had to retcon some of a whole game because I didn't realize the monk in the party had that, so I had to be like, all right, force walls everywhere because this is like this completely ruins this entire little set. This ruins this entire adventure having adamantine fists, being able to just smash through the walls. So yeah, that was maybe not the best of decisions on my part, but yeah, that is a decision I made in the past that I do kind of regret. I could have handled it better. So yeah, definitely try to avoid just telling players no, you can't do your ability, because yeah, try and find ways to work with it instead of just hard correcting against it. Um, that was a mistake I made early in my DMing career that I plan to not make in the future, but we'll see. Hopefully, I don't. Mr. Jins once played a Githzeria monk. Ooh, Githzeria monk, nice. Who had an AC of 26, and he played with someone who had 18 AC. Okay. And I had to give the other one a ring of protection +5 to even him out some. Fair. And that's something that the Githzeria monk could also use as a ring of protection +5. And of course, you know, getting bonuses to wisdom and dex also helps. Yeah, there's a lot of ways to get that AC up. Do you ever cover feats from more niche books like the Book of Nine Swords, Tome of Magics, or Savage Species? Great question. Was that Casson? I will at some point. I'm going through the books in order, just one book at a time, going through all the feats. Right now I'm sticking with the complete books, but I will go through those eventually. They will get covered eventually, but I haven't covered them yet. The more niche ones are going to get covered more later. Like I'm going to start with the least niche books first. I will say Book of Nine Swords, not the most niche. It is a book I have. It's, not too far off from my rotation. So it'll get covered soonish, maybe in the next few years. Yeah, it could be a while, but I don't know. Decent chance it'll be this decade. Yeah, decent chance. Yeah. No mind class ability need to be no mind class ability need to be Oriental plus Insightful Strike. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, Insightful Strike sounds right. Yeah, next few years is soon. For me, yeah. For me, yeah, because I've been making vids since 2013. So the next few years, yeah, I'll probably get covered. It's going to be a while before I've covered everything. Yeah, which is kind of good for me in a way that I've got content for years. Covering every class, race, prestige class, and feat. It's going to take a while. There's a lot of them. I found a way to break the slow maneuver progression of TBONS with blood feats. Interesting. The slow maneuver TBONS. The Book of Nine Swords with blood feats. Interesting. Yeah, I was agreeing that was a no question. Okay, cool. That's good. You never know. Some people I don't know. When I first say a few years, that feels like a long time to a lot of people. And my first instinct is that's a long time. There's a ton of content for you to cover for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm curious about those blood feeds too, J-Not. I'm not super familiar with blood feats, but yeah, there's a ton of content to cover. Thanks for a good time. I'm out later. Yeah, have a good one, Sven. Hope you enjoyed your middle of the night. Since I know you said you woke up, watched my stream for a little while, and now I guess you're going back to bed. So hope you enjoyed your middle sleep, which is actually normal. That's how humans are supposed to sleep, is sleep for 4 hours, hang out and do stuff for an hour or two, and then sleep for another 4 hours. That's literally how humans are supposed to sleep. It wasn't until the invention of the light bulb that humans started sleeping all at once. Like, it's actually really, really recent that humans started being monophasic sleepers. And we just literally completely forgot that we used to be polyphasic sleepers. Um, yeah, it wasn't until people started like reading books from like, a few hundred years ago and being like, what do they mean by second sleep? That people were starting to realize, oh shoot, people didn't always sleep the way they do now. It's actually a new thing. Uh, yeah, true story, and kind of surprising. Uh, you take a 3 dead level, gain blood abilities, then get maneuvers twice as fast. Interesting. Okay, so 3 dead levels. Good night, Mitch. Oh, you're going to bed too, Jay? Not dang. All right, well, have a good one then. I'm still going to be on for. Oh wow, man, time really passed since you guys showed up. Yeah, time, man. When you guys aren't here, time kind of drags. But when we got an active chat, yeah, time goes by so much fast. I didn't realize it's already probably 2 hours, 10 minutes in. I only got another like 20 minutes left. That's crazy. I thought I had another hour or so left. Also, welcome back, Argudes. Yeah. Appreciate that. It won't let me do that. Yay, let me like it. Wouldn't let me thumbs up your thing, but I hearted your donation because I realized that was an option. Anyways, welcome back. I do appreciate that, by the way. That's why I did that. Like you don't have to do that. I don't expect anyone to like give anything. It's great when they do, but like, I don't expect jack. The only thing I expect is, the money I get from my AdSense coming. I expect YouTube to pay up on that, but like, in terms of like people actually paying for content, nah, it's all free if you want it. If you want to pay for memberships, cool. And I'm pretty sure I have it set so that you don't have to watch ads on my channel if you pay for membership. So that's a thing. And YouTube does offer that as an option. So like you get YouTube Premium. So you get some of the benefits of YouTube Premium, the main ones people care about, but only for my channel. By doing that, I mean, absolutely not worth it on its own if you're doing that to like a bunch of people, because just buy YouTube Premium so much cheaper. And honestly, YouTube Premium members actually pay a lot better than non-premium members in terms of like what your view is worth. But fun, the true story. So yeah, I don't even know what I'm saying. But yeah, it's been a good stream so far. We still got another like 15 minutes though. I don't know what else y'all want to talk about. Apparently, oh shoot, Jane was saying something else. I missed some stuff. What was he saying? You have to be Shao and BABF5 and become a first level Shiba protector. Interesting. Okay. I'm on lunch break. Nice. Hope you're having a good lunch break. Interesting. Lunch break. I wonder what time it is for you. For me, it's like almost 9 o'clock in the evening. So it's very late. There's a difference in how much you get preview for premium. Yeah. So basically, premium users, a certain percentage of the money that you pay for premium gets sent to the content creators that you watch. So I'm not exactly sure how it works, but basically, I think it might be the same split, and like it works out to more money. But yeah, especially if you're pay for premium and don't watch that many other channels, then and don't watch YouTube that much, that will make you very, very valuable to as a view. Yeah, per view, not preview. Yeah. So how much you get per view varies on a lot of things. Are they a premium member? If they are a premium member, how many other videos are they watching a month? If they're not a premium member, what country are they from? And also, if they are a premium member, also what country they're from, because I think the cost is different in different countries, like because of exchange rates and whatnot. Um, and also, like if they're not a premium member, what demographics are they in? Like, is it some 12-year-old? Is it some 13-year-old kid who, doesn't have a lot of income? That's not going to pay very much. Is it some like 5-year-old kid on a kid's account? That's going to pay even worse. Are they from the U.S.? That'll pay decent. Are they from Latin America or Africa? Then it's probably not going to pay as much because people there have less money. It's very complicated, and it just comes down to like how valuable your view is to advertisers. Because how much I get really is just 65% of how much YouTube gets. And so YouTube tries to, make as much money off of every view as they can for the most part. They're also trying to build the channel, the platform as a whole. But, we just get a flat 65% of whatever advertisers are paying to view for views on our channel. And yeah, so, if you're, some rich, wealthy business tycoon, and like YouTube's algorithms kind of aware of all that, your view might be worth a lot. But if you're like, some poor kid in Africa, your view is probably not worth very much. It just kind of is what it is. Yeah, preview, not preview. But yeah, I'm in Chicago. Nice. Dang, you got a weird lunch hour. Chicago, isn't that like? Yeah, that's Central Time, isn't it? Isn't it like almost 11 p.m. and you're having lunch? I mean, that's cool with me. Like, I'm a night owl too, and that's a weird time for me. But yeah, you're working nights if you're in Chicago when you're on lunch break. Like, you are 100% working a night shift because that's actually probably a swing. Yeah, you're working swings is what you're doing. It's too early for a lunch break for actual grave. Well, no, actually, you might be grave. Yeah, you might be grave, maybe. Grave or swing, hard to say. Thanks for the information. I wasn't aware how it worked. Back to D&D. Do you have a favorite character you have played or were a DM for? Yeah, my favorite character is probably Roger Lanchester, a character that I spent a long time. I played him in my best friend's game, and I ended up writing like a 100-page backstory. Thing is absolutely insane, like by hand. I went a little crazy with it. He was a fun character, half fighter, half druid, far from optimized. Over half his skill points were in craft. He had max ranks in craft armor smithing, craft weapon smithing, and craft bow making. So, with 3 different craft skills maxed out, that was over half of his skill points. And half druid, half fighter, not a great build. I'm just like every other level, switching back and forth. But I enjoyed him. He was a fun character. Unfortunately, I had to stop playing him a lot earlier than I would have liked. But it is what it is. My friend moved away, so stuff happens. Let's see. So when you homebrew a game, homebrewing a game, do you have your own world, or do you keep your game within book lore worlds, i.e. Forgotten Realms and such? So I generally will stick with. I generally do like my own world. I'll keep it somewhat lore with what's the name of like the base one that like the player's handbooks based off of. Why am I spacing it off the top of my head? But it's loosely based off of that. But like, I'm not keeping in mind like cities or anything like that. It's just like, oh yeah, we have the same gods of them, and like the same races exist, and they have like the same like their whatchamajigger, like they have the same relations. Like humans, elves, and dwarves, like they have their set ways that they interact. Um, yeah. So that's how I usually do it, and yeah, very much homebrewed, with some very loose lore. Uh, Night shifts get lunch too. Yeah, night shifts absolutely get lunch. They just get at like midnight, and looks like you're getting uh, an early lunch break if you're having it at before 11 p.m. So yeah, that's an early lunch for a night shift. Do you have your own established pantheon? No, I usually just go with Greyhawk. There we go. Space in the name forever, but yeah, I just go with the Greyhawk pantheon in like the base Greyhawk setting, but like I don't do anything really beyond what's in the player's handbook. So use the base pantheon that's in the PHB, and that's kind of, and then like, the way that the PHB describes how elves, humans, dwarves, and all that like each other, like their relations. But I'm not using like, oh yes, this city and that other city, and nah, or this character. No, just all stuff I make up. Lore friendly. Yeah, so I just make it all up. Like the first one I ran, it was based off of freaking political events, and like it was honestly based off of, because this was like 2009 I was running this, so it was based off of like the whole war in Iraq and the Bush administration. Like it was based off of that, and I literally came up with all the lore literally the morning of, about 2 hours before our first session. Just kind of dawned on me. I'm like, yeah, the war instead of the war in Iraq, it's the war at the rock. There's a big rock that they were fighting over, and yeah. And then I'm just like doing just like plays on words of everybody's names and everything. I'm like, yeah, there'll be like these magical artifacts that they're going to get throughout their journey, and they're the weapons capable of destroying the masses. Yeah, like, instead of weapons of mass destruction. Like I literally just played on words, everything. Everyone had words on. It was interesting. I didn't go too deep on stuff. Probably the most political thing that I did was I said that I was kind of saying that I kind of made. He was like the great hero W. I think the great hero M, which I just flipped the W, and was like, everyone thought it was a Death Note reference, which I was a huge Death Note fan, still kind of am. I mean, I think that's like the last episode playing in the background, they thought it was that, but no, it was a reference to W. Bush. But yeah, it was just this whole thing. He was like the great hero, and then like had it end because the Dark Wizard Brahma took over it, which was a reference to Obama. It was just a whole thing that I just came up with like 2 hours before. So yeah, that was the story, and it was certainly interesting. So yeah, that was my first campaign that I did. Just kind of made it up on the fly. Another one I did was kind of loosely based off of Lord of the Rings. The last one I did was what was it based off? I'm trying to remember. Oh, so it was one that somewhat loosely based off of Diablo, but like not super heavily based. Like one of the main NPC characters that was reoccurring was based off of that, but for the most part, it was like just this battle between heaven and hell. Or not so much heaven and hell, but like it was just like kind of this hell on earth campaign, where like literal hell on earth, where the devils came and like took over this country, and basically the whole campaign was it started off as kind of sandboxy, but then they went off on this mission, and all of a sudden it went from sandbox to hell on earth. And I did give him a heads up on that, where it's like, okay, devils just took over the entire country, and now it's your job to reclaim the country from the devils. Have fun. And they spent several years doing the campaign and working on that, and then we ended up stopping right before the final fight because it was just a lot of work, and I didn't have the energy to actually build the final battle. So that's what ended up killing that campaign. Was me just burning out and not being able to create the final battle, which kind of sucks because I've been wanting to do it for years, but I don't know. It was a lot. So yeah. But yeah, it was a pretty fun campaign idea, and it wasn't like I just surprised them with it. Like when I was pitching it to them, it's like, okay, so here's the story. There's great wealth in this kingdom, and it's all because the great the king has made a pact with Asmodeus, and that's been you've been getting great riches because of that. So everyone's praying to him, and so it was like, if you were at all familiar with like lore and stuff, you'd be like, oh, this is clearly the Lord of the Nine Hells that they're worshiping, and there's clearly some sort of like catch to this. So yeah. Do you ever ban things in your games? Yes. Certain magic items like Deck of Many Things, or certain character types, for example. I don't run psionic classes. I always a bridge too far, but fair enough. Things like Deck of Many Things, those are things that players can't just find on their own. Those are artifacts. Artifacts are special, and they show up when I want them to show up. The players aren't going to find them on their own. They're not going to stumble upon them. They're not going to just find them ever. They show up when I decide that they show up. That's how I do artifacts, and honestly, that's really how you should do artifacts. Players can like quest to try and find them, but they're not something you're ever going to stumble on. So yeah, that's a thing. And yeah, the DM has a lot of control over like special things like artifacts. In terms of like things that I do ban, like sometimes I'll say, hey, no evil in this game, but it depends on the game. I often ban crossplay. So it's like, hey, if you're a guy, you're playing a guy. If you're a girl, you're playing a girl. That's, setting aside trans stuff, like, trans people can play what they want, what they like identify as. But like, my thing is like, if you're like a dude like me, you can't play a freaking girl because you're going to be bad at it. And that's just how I do things, because I don't like the way guys play girls, and I don't like the way girls play guys because they don't do it well. That's one thing that I ban. In terms of psionics, no, I love psionics, and I love a lot of shenanigans. Sometimes I'll say like you can only use stuff in books that I own, but yeah, it just kind of depends. It really depends on the shift, or not on the campaign. Where was I at? There. I have my own world, but I can place in it any rule systems. Yeah, 100%. For this current one, we started in Waterdeep, but they will end in my own continent. Yeah, you can absolutely do that. Of like combining, stuff from other sources with, your own world. Like in my game, it's like, okay, well, the kingdom to the east of our country is it's Hyrule apparently, and Ganondorf's over there doing his thing because they fought him that one time. So apparently Hyrule is to the east of the country. That was a thing in my first, in the last campaign I ran. They fought Ganondorf that one time because apparently Hyrule is right there. You can do that stuff. They had them fight the characters from Black Clover at one point. They fought the Blackbeard pirates at one point who just showed up on the southern shore. Yeah, I throw stuff from anime at them. I like go for it, especially if it's like a homebrew game. Um, they go overboard on the stereotypes when playing reverse genders. Yeah, that's kind of thing. And both genders do it, like guys and girls both do it. I think guys are generally worse at it because guys will often play, but like when guys play as women, they often play as complete horse. It's just a thing that often happens, and not a fan of that. It's not that realistic, and I find women will often play guys as like these knight in shining armor guys straight out of a Hallmark movie. It's like, nah, that ain't how dudes are. We ain't those Hallmark stereotypical dudes. Not how the world is. It depends on if I really know my players. Yeah, like not every player is going to do that. Some players are going to be better at it than others. But yeah, and like part of it, like with trans people, they're less likely to do that because they identify as that gender. So, that's a lot less of like that's not an issue for them. But yeah, because they are that like yeah. Anywho, we actually just hit our 2.5 hour mark. If you guys got any last things you guys want to talk about real quick, any like last questions, let me know, and I can go over those real fast. Otherwise, we're going to start wrapping things up and get this ended and ready so we can get to next session, or not session, our next one Wednesday. So if y'all got any other questions, let me know. Otherwise, yeah, the next live stream is Wednesday, same time, same place. And yeah, it'll be a fun time. Just talking D&D 3.5 and yeah. But not seeing anything in chat. So I'll assume you all are ready to end it. And yeah. I'll see you guys on Wednesday at 5:30. Or sorry, not 5:30, 6:30 my time. Whatever time it is for you, your time. Same time as this one and same time as the last one's. No more questions here. Thanks for the content you make. I love seeing 3.5 content. Yeah, appreciate it. Appreciate having you here. Plan to keep making more content, especially when I got people, showing up and supporting and everything. That does motivate me to make more stuff. But anyways, as always, I'm Mitch. I'll be seeing you.